Hi there, my name is Jim Pete. I am a fourth grade teacher, and I am currently reading Holes by Louis Sachar. Man, what a great book. I am about to start chapter 45, and Stanley has finally gone back to that hole that we talked about way back when they found that lipstick container that X-Ray took credit for, so nobody knew the hole that they actually found it in. While Stanley and Zero went back to that hole, Stanley dug around and found that suitcase, handed it to Zero, only to have the warden standing there waiting for him to take it. What's in it? What happens next? Well, I could sit here and ask you that, or we could just read the chapter. So let's do that. Chapter 45. Here we go. The beam of the flashlight was directed away from Stanley's eyes and onto Zero, who was sitting on his knees. The suitcase was on his lap. Mr. Pendanski was holding the flashlight. Mr. Sir stood next to him with his gun drawn and pointed in the same direction. Mr. Sir was barefoot and bare-chested, wearing only his pajama bottoms. The warden moved towards Zero. She was also in her bedclothes, wearing an extra-long t-shirt. Unlike Mr. Sir, however, she had on her boots. Mr. Pendanski was the only one fully dressed. Perhaps he had been on guard duty. Off in the distance, Stanley could see two more flashlights bobbing toward them in the darkness. He felt helpless in the hole. "You boys arrived just in the nick," the warden started to say. She stopped talking, and she stopped walking. Then she slowly backed away. A lizard had crawled up on top of the suitcase. Its big, red eyes glowed in the beam of the flashlight. Its mouth was open, and Stanley could see its white tongue moving in and out between its black teeth. Zero sat as still as a statue. Simile. A second lizard crawled up over the side of the suitcase and stopped less than an inch away from Zero's little finger. Stanley was afraid to look and afraid not to. He wondered if he should try to scramble out of the hole before the lizards turned on him, but he didn't want to cause any commotion. The second lizard crawled across Zero's fingers and halfway up his arm. It occurred to Stanley that the lizards were probably on the suitcase when he handed it to Zero. "There's another one," gasped Mr. Pendanski. He shined the flashlight on the box of frosted flakes which lay on its side beside Stanley's hole. A lizard was crawling out of it. The light also illuminated Stanley's hole. He glanced downward and had to force himself to suppress a scream. Highlight suppress. Suppress means to hold back, to stop. He was standing in a lizard nest. He felt the scream explode inside him, hyperbole. He could see 6 lizards. There were 3 on the ground, 2 on his left leg, and 1 on his right sneaker. He tried to remain very still. Something was crawling up the back of his neck. 3 other counselors approached the area. Stanley heard one say, "What's going?" and then whisper, "Oh my God." "What do we do?" asked Mr. Pendanski. "We wait," said the warden. "It won't be very long." "At least we'll have a body to give that woman," said Mr. Pendanski. "That woman?" "She's gonna ask a lot of questions," said Mr. Sir. "And this time she'll have the AG with her." "Who's that woman, and why would the head lawyer of the state be coming?" "Let her ask her questions," said the warden. "Just so long as I have the suitcase, I don't care what happens. Do you know how long?" Her voice trailed off, then started up again. "When I was little, I'd watch my parents dig holes every weekend and holiday. When I got bigger, I had to dig too. even on Christmas. Stanley felt tiny claws dig into the side of his face as the lizard pulled itself off his neck and up past his chin. "It won't be long now," the warden said. Stanley could hear his heartbeat. Each beat told him he was still alive, at least for one more second. Whew. So, Stanley, we keep hearing about these yellow-spotted lizards, and they have finally literally stepped right into a nest. Remember, it was so dark they couldn't see, so these lizards have been around them the entire time. My question is, why aren't they biting him or Zero? They're literally on them. It's keeping all the counselors away, and the warden knows all we have to do is wait. They're going to get bitten, and we get the loot, if there is loot. So my question is, why aren't these lizards, every time we've seen a lizard or heard about a lizard, we know they're predators, and why aren't they biting Zero or Stanley the way that they bit Kate? I don't know, but my guess is we're going to find out really soon. All right, here we go. Chapter 45 coming up next. Click that like button, click that subscribe button. Please leave comments, and please say hello to my wonderful class so that we can have an amazing discussion about this climactic moment where we're waiting to find out what happens with these lizards and what the warden's going to do, and ultimately what Stanley and Zero are going to do, because they are in a really tight spot. All right. Thank you so much. I will see you all on the next page. Peace.